To student history, chapter 7, an imperial capital Vijayanagar. Vijayanagar or city of victory was the name used both for a city and a kingdom. This kingdom was founded by Harihar and Mukka in 1336 AD or CE. Four dynasties ruled. First was Sangma from 1336 to 1485 CE, then Salua 1485 to 1503 CE, then Tulua 1503 to 1542, and from this dynasty, the most famous king of this kingdom, Krishnadev Rai, belonged. Then last was Arivadu dynasty, 1542 to 17th century. In the time of Arivadu dynasty, the four kingdoms, under the four kingdoms, Bijapur, Golconda and Ahmednagar united. Vijayanagar at that time was led by Prime Minister Rama Rai of Arivadu dynasty, and they were annoyed, the three Muslim states were annoyed and they crushed in 1565 in the Battle of Talikota. Vijayanagar was plundered and looted. There were so many other features. It has been believed that Vijayanagar rulers competed with the sultans of Deccan on its northern frontiers and Gajpati rulers of Orissa in the east. Warfare during 14th-16th century was based on efficient cavalry. That is why it was very important for rival kingdoms to import good quality horses from Arabia and Central Asia. From 1498 CE, Portuguese traders arrived on the west coast of the subcontinent, attempted to establish trading and military centers. They used muskets quite efficiently, which helped them emerge as an important force in the triangle politics of this period. Vijayanagar was famous for its spices, textile and precious stones. Trade was generally regarded as a status symbol for such cities. There was a great demand of expensive foreign goods among rich people over here, especially of expensive stone and jewelry. On the other hand, revenue derived from people was an important aspect of prosperity. First dynasty that ruled over Vijayanagar was Sangama dynasty. Then second was Salua, then third was Tulua, and fourth was Arivadu. The major feature of rule of Krishnadev Rai, who was the most important king of Tulua dynasty, was the expansion and consolidation of the kingdom. Third, the region between the rivers of Tumbhadra and Krishna, and got possession of Raichur Dawa, which was very fertile land. Later on, he subdued the rulers of Orissa and defeated the Sultan of Bijapur in 1520 CE. Krishnadev is credited with construction of some of the finest temples and adding magnificent gopurams to many important temples of South India. He also found a suburban township of Nangarpuram near Vijayanagara after his mother. After the death of Krishnadev Rai, strains began to show within the imperial structure. In the end, it was controlled by another ruling lineage, Arivadu, in 1542 CE. The dynasty ruled over Vijayanagara till the end of 17th century. In 1565, military of Vijayanagara under the leadership of Prime Minister Rama Rai went into the battles of Raksh, Bansi, Pangadi, known as Talikota, Battle of Talikota in 1565. Here it was defeated very badly by the joint forces of Bijapur, Ahmednagar and Golconda. The victorious force that attacked the city, Vijayanagar, plundered it. The city was totally abandoned within a few years. Actually, the Prime Minister, tried to play off one Sultan against the other, but it did not take place. Accordingly, Sultan became united and they defeated Rama Rai in the decisive battle. In this way, Rama Rai was mainly responsible for the destruction of Vijayanagar Empire. A number of Nayakas surrendered in front of kings of Vijayanagara, but they often rebelled and had to be suppressed by military action. Nayakas were those who exercised power in the empire and were military chiefs. They usually spoke Telugu or Kannada. The Amar Nayaka system was one of the major political innovations of Vijayanagar kingdom. Probably some of the elements were taken over by the Ikta system of the Delhi Sultanate. Amar Nayakas were military commanders. They were given different rayas. They used to collect taxes and revenue from peasants, artisans, traders. Some part of this revenue was kept by them for personal use and for maintaining a stipulated contingent of horses and elephants. The rest of the revenue was submitted to the treasury of the kingdom. Their contingents provided help to kings in case of external aggression. They helped the king to control the entire peninsula. The city of Vijayanagara was the capital city of Vijayanagar kingdom. Like most of the capitals, it was also featured by the distinctive physical features and building style. The most important geographical feature of Vijayanagara is the natural basin formed by the river Tungabhadra. This river flows in north-easterly direction. The surrounding landscape is featured by granite hills. Many streams flow down to the river from these rock hills. In almost all the cases, banks were built along these streams to create reservoirs of various size. Most important feature of Vijayanagar city was the great fortress wall, and ambassador named Abdul Razzaq was sent by the ruler of Persia to Calicut in the 15th century. He mentioned 7 lines of forts. These encircled not only the city but also the agricultural hinterland and the forest. The outermost wall of city linked the hills surrounding the city. No cementing agent or mortar was used anywhere in the construction. The stone were wedge-shaped and were held at their places. Another important feature of fortification of the city was that it also enclosed agriculture fields. Abdul Razzaq wrote that between the first, second and third walls there were cultivated fields, gardens and houses. The aim of archaeologists have found evidence of agriculture fields between religious centers and urban centers. This area was irrigated by a great canal. Now, around 30 building complexes have been identified as palaces of royal centers. These are comparatively large buildings which are not associated with ritual function. Then these are comparatively which not associated with. There are differences between these structures and temples. Temples were completely constructed of masonry, but other buildings were made of perishable material. The King's Palace is the largest enclosure in royal residence. It has 2 most impressive platforms, which are known as the Audience Hall and the Mahanami Dibba. Audience Hall is a high platform with slabs for wooden pillars at close and regular intervals. There was a staircase which was going up to the second floor, which rested up on these wooden pillars. Lotus Mahal was one of the most magnificent buildings in the royal center. It was named by the British traveller in the 19th century. One idea found in a map drawn by Mackenzie was that it was probably a council chamber where the king used to meet his advisors. One of the most spectacular temples of all the temples situated in royal center was the Hazara Rama temple. It was probably used only by the king and his royal family. When the city was attacked, many of its structures were destroyed, but Nayakas continued the tradition of building palatial structure. The northern part of Vijayanagar city was on the banks of river Tungabhadra. is rocky. According to the local tradition, these hills protected the kingdom from Bali and Sugriva mentioned in the Ramayana. According to some other tradition, Kampa Devi, the local mother goddess, did penance in these hills to marry Virupaksha. Virupaksha was the guardian deity of the kingdom and was recognized as the incarnation of Shiva. Probably the selection of Vijayanagar as the capital city was motivated by the existence of temples of Virupaksha and Kampa Devi. Even rulers of Vijayanagara kingdom claimed to rule on behalf of God Virupaksha. All royal orders were in Kannada script and were signed Sri Virupaksha. New features were evident in the temple architecture. These include a structure made on large scale. These structures were the symbols of the imperial authority. Most beautiful example of this is the Royal Gopuram or Royal Gateway. The Virupaksha temple was built over the centuries. Inscriptions suggest that the earliest temple was dated 9th to 10th century, but was greatly enlarged after the establishment of Vijayanagar kingdom. Krishnadev Raya built the hall in front of the main shrine to mark his accession. It was decorated with delicately carved pillars. He is also credited to construct the eastern Gopuram. The halls of the temple were used for different purposes. Images of gods were placed at some spaces to witness special programs of dance, music, drama, etc. Other halls were used to celebrate the marriage of deities. Some halls were meant for the deities to swing in. Special images were used on the occasions, and these images were different from those which were kept in the central shrine. Another famous shrine was Vithala temple. Here the principal deity was Vithala. He is known as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, generally worshipped in Maharashtra. One of the major features of the temple complexes in Chariot Street, which were extended from the temple Gopuram in the straight line. Floors of these streets were made with stone slabs. These were lined with pillared pavilion in which merchants set up their shops. Information of travelers' accounts, inscriptions, and the initial surveys of Mackenzie were pieced together. In 20th century, this place came under the protection of Archaeological Survey of India and the Karnataka Department of Archaeology and Museum. Hampi was recognized as a site of national importance in 1976. Then during the early years of 1980s, an important project was launched to document the material remains at Vijayanagara in detail. Over the next 20 years, a number of scholars from all over the world worked to compile and preserve the information. Thus, although this empire started from 1336, it was founded by Harihar and Mukka, but with the attack by three dynasties, three kingdoms, Muslim kingdom of South, Bijapur, Golconda and Ahmednagar, the Vijayanagar empire was destroyed completely. Although later on the rule was for some area, but it did not last. Okay, today.